What is up, guys? My name is Scott and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. Today I'm pumped to bring you yet another Skyrim Remastered build. This time we have a totally reimagined version of the pirate with an expanded backstory, fleshed out role-playing, fresh playstyle, and all new perk choices. The pirate is a masterful manipulator. She knows exactly what to say to get her way, and anything she can't obtain through sweet talk and a seductive smile, she takes anyway. She lives a lavish lifestyle, capitalizing on all of her acquired plunder to enjoy luxuries most can only dream of. She is confident and charismatic, but can also be silent and deadly when the circumstances demand it. If bloodshed is her only option, she doesn't disappoint. She uses her twin scimitars to unleash mayhem on her adversaries, striking hard, fast, and with serious style. But as a thief and a scoundrel, she can take the subtle route, quietly disposing of threats while pocketing all the valuables she finds in the process. The pirate's weapons of choice, Blood Scythe and Soul Render, are unstoppable when used in combination with one another. If you'd like to know how to get your hands on these magical curved Deathbringers, you must go visit Camelworks on YouTube, where you'll be able to find a brand new guide on these very weapons, as well as tons more fantastic content. Just before we jump into the pirate, don't forget to vote for the next remastered build in the comments. Your choices are the Druid and the Bone Lord. As always, timestamps to each part of the video can be found in the description. Alright, now it's time to get into the pirate's race, standing stone, and stats. The pirate is a female Redguard of Hammerfell. The Redguards are known for being formidable warriors, excelling in sword and shield combat. As a result, the pirate is naturally gifted with plus 10 in one-handed, and this will be very useful for her playstyle. As a bonus, she has the Adrenaline Rush ability, granting her 10 times faster stamina regen for 60 seconds, and her Redguard Blood gives her a built-in 50% resistance to poison. The pirate will use the Thief Stone in the early game for faster leveling in her essential abilities, but once all her skills are leveled, the Atronach Stone will provide a useful 50% spell absorption, allowing her to stay alive more easily against arcane opponents. Her stat spread will be 80% health and 20% stamina. The heavy investment in health is due to the fact she will not be wearing armor. In order to sustain in battle, a lot of health is a must to compensate. As for the 20% stamina, this will give her the energy required to perform sneak rolls and power attacks. The stat doesn't need to be too high, as she doesn't use a bow. Also, her Adrenaline Rush ability mentioned just before gives her the perfect backup should the pirate ever be in a situation where a significant amount of stamina is needed. The pirate was the first and only child of a poor Redguard couple living in a humble shack on the shores of Stros Mackay. Her parents passed away when she was very young, thrusting her into a life on the streets. She eventually mixed in with a group of slightly older children who took her in and offered her a life as part of a community. During her youth, she learned how to use what she had to survive. On the streets, you couldn't rely on money to keep you safe, and as a young female, she learned to influence others into doing what she wanted and protecting her rather than trying to protect herself. While she wasn't the biggest or the strongest, she soon had a reputation as a gifted thief and a smooth talker. As she matured, manipulating others became easier and easier. Her bright blue eyes, uncommon amongst Redguards, and her desirable physique definitely played a part in this. By this time, she had 3 close friends. These were the ones she socialized with every evening at the local tavern, the Maiden's Kiss. Despite its sweet-sounding name, this tavern was renowned for its frequent and almost inevitable bar fights. The pirate's closest ally, sitting across from her at the table, was Owen. He was a charismatic, egotistical, and vain young Redguard male with long, wavy black hair considerably longer than the pirate's own. He was a force in bar brawls, his only weakness being that he cared more about keeping beer and blood off his fine shirts than actually hitting someone. Next to him sat Pike. Pike was big and burly with a shaved head and a full beard, the group's muscle. He was barely able to fit on the bench and didn't add much by the way of conversation, but when fists started flying, the pirate wanted him on her side. And finally, there was Razlan. Razlan was smart, and he played the lute. He worked most nights supplying entertainment at the tavern, but dreamed of playing for slightly less brutish crowds. He found it hard to believe people were actually listening to him play when they were usually too busy smashing glasses over one another's heads. One day, the 4 of them decided it was time for a change. They recruited a crew from the streets and unlawfully commandeered a ship. The pirate stood up as the captain, Owen as her first mate, Pike as the boatswain, and Razlan was the sailing master. Their endeavors were an instant success. They would raid traveling merchant ships, looting the precious silks, jewels, and commodities heading anywhere along the western coasts of Tamriel. Several years on, after a string of unsuccessful raids along the coast of Hammerfell, Owen's egocentric ambition manifested, and he turned the crew of the ship on the pirate, suggesting that they would acquire far more plunder under his lead. The crew, led by Owen, stripped her of her fineries and left her for dead on a desert island west of Mackay. The pirate spends the next few months with the fact that she allowed that tight-lipped bastard to get the better of her, and she vowed to get revenge on her former friends. This renewed motivation gave her the drive to plot her escape. She knew her homeland was only a few leagues east of where they left her, so she fashioned a raft from fallen coconut trees and twine. Braving the harsh winds and relentless ocean swells, she rode for days until she finally made it to Mackay. Her first act was to head to the Maiden's Kiss, where she knew the owner would take pity on her with a warm meal and a set of clothes. To her surprise, she found Razlan performing to the patrons. She picked her way into his rented room and waited on a chair by the door. That evening, when he returned, she pulled a scimitar on the unsuspecting bard. She discovered that Owen had betrayed them all, taking all the valuable loot to live a new life in Cyrodiil. She sliced Razlan's throat and booked passage to Anvil. In this port city, she stumbled across Pike, working as a bodyguard for a wealthy family. That night, she infiltrated their estate and found Pike dozing on the job, unaware of her presence. She stripped him of his weapons and confronted him, desperate to find Owen's location. He told her that Owen had taken a Nord wife in Bruma. The moment the information had left his mouth, the pirate struck, piercing her scimitars through his chest. The following journey northwest to Bruma had been one full of excitement and anticipation. She had cherished Owen almost as much as Owen cherished himself, and she was desperate to look him in the eyes as she killed him. She had found him and his beautiful wife in Bruma's market square. The pirate dressed in the local fashion, covering her face with a cloth against the winter chill, and posed as a merchant. She used some poison she had acquired on her journey to make poisoned mead. Eventually, Owen had come around to browse, and the pirate convinced him to try the mead. She watched in delight as Owen began to heave and claw at his throat, the panic taking hold of him. Before they drew too much attention, the pirate excused herself, stealing a horse from the stables and riding north to avoid potential pursuit. She had ridden too far north, however, as a group of Imperials captured her, mistaking her for a member of the Stormcloaks. After escaping her potentially grisly fate at Helgen, the pirate decides to make a new life for herself in Skyrim. She has nothing to go back to anyway. She will utilize her charm to manipulate those around her and get what she wants. There are endless spoils to be found in Skyrim, and she will take what she wants without being seen or heard. As her past illustrates, she has no patience for betrayal and will have no problem disposing of anyone who double-crosses her. But while she is a scoundrel, she isn't the type of person to kill needlessly. She saves violence for when she is provoked. She's been thieving almost as long as she's been walking, and is confident in her ability to steal without drawing unnecessary attention to herself. As a professional swashbuckler, she had an affinity with money and anything remotely valuable, and she will dress and behave like someone of wealth, opting for fine clothes and jewels rather than bulky armor. She enjoys being the center of attention, but only among like-minded types. As a rogue and a thief, she can't afford to let her renown spread too far outside of the taverns and guilds. The pirate will bask in the recognition that comes from being the chosen one, and will fulfill her role as Dragonborn in the main storyline after learning of her true purpose. She'll finish the Dragonborn DLC, and Dawnguard is optional, but regardless of the questline, she'll be thinking of the rare items, jewels, and artifacts she may be able to plunder in these new environments. Just like her time on the streets of Mackay, she will see the value in aligning with other thieves, and will therefore join the Thieves Guild. In doing so, she'll have the opportunity to steal constantly, follow the Baron's Stones quest, and even become the Guildmaster. Returning the Thieves Guild to its former glory will have other benefits too, as she'll be able to form ties with cities across Skyrim, making sure that the guards are paid to turn a blind eye to her questionable behaviors and actions. The Dark Brotherhood is an option for the pirate. They value her skill set greatly, but she isn't fond of taking lives unless it's her only option. If she does elect to join them, she will be purely motivated by material gain. The Daedric Princess intrigue the pirate, as she is so confident in her ability to influence that she believes even the gods aren't immune to her charms. But serving them will only be worthwhile in order to acquire their intriguing and expensive artifacts. So now we've been through the pirate's backstory and learnt all about her, let's see how this translates into her skills, perks, spells, and playstyle. The main skills for this build will be one-handed sneak, pickpocket, lockpicking, speech, and enchanting. As you can tell, the pirate has a very versatile skill set in and out of combat, which will give her tons of options despite not using spells or shouts. Even though she uses no spells, her dual scimitars have powerful magical abilities, causing the curved blades to give off an arcane glow. As a redguard, the pirate's weapon of choice is always going to be the scimitar, and as a street urchin turned buccaneer, she had learned to be rather skilled with one in each hand. From the one-handed skill tree, you'll want to invest in the right-hand branch and the middle branch from Fighting Stance to Savage Strike. Fully optimizing Dual Flurry and Dual Savagery are a must for this double-bladed swashbuckler. With Dual Flurry, a dual-wielding power attack will be 35% faster, and with Dual Savagery, it will be 50% more powerful. By taking Savage Strike, standing power attacks will do 25% bonus damage, and the pirate will have the chance to decapitate her enemies. Our next main skill is Sneak, and from this skill tree we recommend taking every perk except for Assassin's Blade and Deadly Aim, as they do not correspond with a pirate's weapons of choice. Some notable perks from this skill include Backstab and Silence. With Backstab, taking the time to sneak up on unaware opponents is well worth the effort, as sneak attacks with one-handed weapons will deal 6 times more damage. As for Silence, this permits the pirate to walk around and run without affecting detection, so she can move around freely without being conspicuous to suspecting guards and aggressive enemies. Next up we have Pickpocket, and from this skill tree you'll want to take the entire middle branch. The Cut Purse perk is perfectly fitting for the pirate. When she hears the all too familiar jangle of golden septums in someone's pocket, the pirate is determined to get her hands on them, and with this perk, attempts at pickpocketing gold will have an additional 50% chance. The pirate takes her thievery to all new levels with the Misdirection and Perfect Touch perk. With Misdirection you can pickpocket equipped weapons, and with Perfect Touch you can pickpocket equipped items. Whether she actually wants what her target is holding or whether she's just showing off, we'll never know. Another of the pirate's feats of dexterity is her ability to pick locks. From the lockpicking skill tree we suggest following the right hand branch up to Expert Locks and then taking Locksmith and Unbreakable. With these perks you'll be able to pick all locks with ease, as picks will start closer to the lock opening position and her lockpicks will never break. Successfully influencing those around her is what took the pirate from starving in the streets to captaining a ship and commanding a crew of miscreants. She can persuade people to cooperate and will not settle for anything but the best possible deal in negotiations. As a result, speech is an essential part of her role-playing and gameplay. From speech, the left branch is what the pirate will need to prosper in Skyrim. All of these perks will benefit her bartering, two of the more noteworthy perks being Allure and Master Trader. With Allure, the pirate can use her appealing assets to get 10% better prices when bartering with the opposite sex. As for a Master Trader, every merchant in the game will be stocked with an extra 1,000 gold, meaning she can haul as many valuables from her travels as she wants to without worrying about compensation. Finally, we have Enchanting. The pirate's choice of apparel means she is more susceptible to the dangers of Skyrim. Enchantments will help to counter her low resistances, providing protection and other useful effects. From this skill tree, you'll want to opt for the middle branch, finishing with Extra Effect. Extra Effect allows you to put a second enchantment on each item. The pirate indulges in the life of a materialistic plunderer. In her line of work, she gets her hands on all the finest goods in Tamriel, and she isn't one to pass up wearing beautiful fabrics just to spend all day sweating into steel-plated armor. It's important to note that each piece of the pirate's apparel should be enchanted with whichever enchantments will best keep her alive in combat and complement her chosen skills. The pirate will wear the tavern clothes, which can be found in Liar's Retreat, just to the southwest of Solitude, nearby Dragon's Bridge and Karthwaston. This outfit perfectly suits the pirate's lavish aesthetic, and thanks to your enchanting skill, she can wear it without having to worry as much about every attempt on her life. She will also wear a self-enchanted circlet of your choice, and the one we chose for this video is the Copper Moonstone circlet, as it suited her outfit and skin tone nicely. The enchantments are the important factor here. Other than that, the idea of the circlet is to play up the pirate's love for extravagant statements of wealth and style. Lastly, even though they will go relatively unseen, a ring and necklace of your choice are essential to give you 4 more enchantment options. When enchanting each piece of the pirate's clothing, the best areas to address will be buffing up resistances and strengthening one-handed damage. You can also improve skills related to thieving, like pickpocket or sneak if you so wish. As for her weapons, the pirate is a master of the scimitar. Early on, you'll want to wield 2 scimitars until you reach the Dragonborn DLC. Once you do, her complete arsenal will be Blood Scythe and Soul Render. For in-depth guides on where to find these weapons, be sure to check out our good friend Camelwork's brand new guide. These scimitars work perfectly together. When wielded with Soul Render, Blood Scythe will absorb 15 health and have a chance to lower the target's armor, and when wielded with Blood Scythe, Soul Render will absorb 15 magicka and have a chance to lower the target's magical defenses. So when used in tandem, these scimitars are unstoppable. Be sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video or are new to the channel, but that concludes this week's Skyrim Remastered build, The Pirate. Don't forget to head down into the description for timestamps, links to our social media, and a link to the brilliant Camelworks Blood Scythe and Soul Render weapon guide. Lastly, cast your vote in the comments section to decide which remastered build comes next. This week, your choices are the Druid and the Bone Lord. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I'm Scott, and I look forward to nerding out with you next time.